Check me out. Check me out.
Yeah, because I was looking it up, and it looks great to me, and I think that's what's most important, because unfortunately we'll see a lot of artists get into situations, which is what I want to talk about next, where nowadays you will see artists do a like a big rollout for themselves. They have the producers they need, engineers, songwriters, and everything, marketing team, everything on their own, and then they'll get into a contract situation like you hear everybody talk about the 360 now.
Right.
And it's I want to get your take on that. Do you think that artists realize their potential, or are we still in that mindset where we have to get artists to realize even when you get a contract, it's a business deal. It's not just you're going to work for some
Right.
franchise restaurant or something like that. So I want to get your take on that. Do you think that we still need to keep waking artists up on, making those decisions so they don't have to go back later on and say, "Oh, I got robbed," and all of that stuff?
So a 360 deal is not a bad deal. It's a great deal if it's negotiated on the path of greatness for the release of the
Oh yeah,
product.
hold on. I'm gonna have you start that again, because I know a lot of people gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you start. Say that again. So and then break it down.
360 deal. Yeah, 360 deal is a great deal if you negotiate the product. Understand the 360. 360 meaning that I am going to invest into the development of the product. I'm going to put the product out. I'm going to ensure that you get on a tour, which you have to pay for. I'm going to ensure that you get all the time you need in the spaces that you need. Now, I'm talking about a real 60 deal, 360. I'm not talking about a 360 deal from somebody who hasn't done anything but talk and say, hey, I'm going to get you this and go get you into some studio. Well, a real
Yeah.
60. That person give you a 360 deal. That means that person or that company is investing finances and their connections and their network into the development of your product and getting your product to the market, right?
Mm,
That's your product to the market. That's your merchandise to the market. That's your helping you set up, if not setting up for you, all those platforms and channels for your music to be sold to greater market. That doesn't mean that they're going to get necessarily half of what you get all the time. It depends on what amount of money they put up. And 360 deal only means too that they're getting a percentage of everything, not half. Like for shows, it may end up being, I don't know, it can be anywhere like 10%, 20%, or whatever.
right.
Um, what you get for the merchandise, it can be the same thing, and it's a little piece of everything. It's not half of everything. It's a piece of everything. And generally, what happens if I put $150,000 into your product, I'm going to get my $150,000 back first, and then we're going to start splitting the percentages, right? We don't
Mm,
just necessarily that means that I took a risk, and I took the financial risk to say I believe in you, not knowing whether someone is going to actually buy your stuff or not. Your parents, your friends may buy it, but for me to get my 150, I could be in the negative. But I'm
right.
going to take the chance because I believe in you as much as you believe in you. So because I believe in you and you believe in you, we both going to work hard. I'm going to take my hard on earned cash and invest it into you. And once we get you to a point, I'm going to get my $150,000 back, and then I'm going to take, if it's a 360 deal, a percentage of shows, a percentage of merchandise, a percentage of sales, downloads, Spotify, whatever, which is very small, right? And you got to sell, like, you got to stream so many million before you even get $10,000. So
Yeah.
it's not even streams, it's more the downloads and more shows. And that's another reason why 360, because you really don't make a lot of your money back when you only doing stream. You have to stream a lot of music in order
So
to make some money back. So here's the deal. I think that it's very important to understand music business, like the coffee business, will work for you if you work for it.
mm,
So you have to work for it, and it has to make sense. See, I can go open a coffee shop, and say that, I'm not making anything, or I can be a starving coffee shop owner, just like you can be a starving artist.
yeah.
You can be a successful coffee shop owner as you can be successful, and you don't have to be Starbucks to be a successful coffee shop. You don't have to be Beyonce to be a successful artist.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that maybe the biggest issue we have with a lot of our young up and coming artists that they're more concerned with being stars versus realizing that it's a business?
Yeah, I think people just like to see that they got so many different uh, uh, platforms and systems that they can get streams and up their numbers on Spotify, up their numbers that are not real. Like I said, you see people sometimes with billion streams, they can't even sell out a 5,000 seater. And so
Mm.
I think you have to think about numbers where you're developing fans. Like when you look at the history of Motown and Stax and Capitol back in the day and Atlantic, they really built the fan base. That's the reason why we still know about Aretha Franklin after she deceased. That's how we still know about Ray Charles. That's how we still know about Louis Armstrong and Mahalia Jackson and all those people who are no longer here to physically be present to promote anything, but their records always sell and have these waves of sales depending on what season, right? And so even Sam Cooke still a few years ago was generating over $3 million just on one stream of his income, right?
Wow.
And so, and he's been dead for over 50 years. So here, that's a perfect example of saying when you build a fan base. Whereas if you're just streaming a lot, right? When you're gone, or if it's some illusional streaming number, so look to build a fan base and you start that where you are and you have a plan to build out and you press repeat and you press repeat. Whatever works in St. Petersburg, whatever works in Tampa, whatever works in Atlanta, whatever works in Miami, wherever you are in the world, you start there and you go from city to city and you have a strategy. The strategy is I'm going to start here, and if it works here, whatever I did here, boom, boom, boom. The cool thing is with the media, you have more access to more people immediately, and you get a chance to do the same type of building your base over and over and connecting in whatever outlets there are. That often attracts, bigger muscles, which give you more negotiation power when it comes to contracts. If you do want to own your masters or co-own your masters or whatever with the company or own, they can lease it and hold it for up to a certain period of years and then it's released to you, whatever is negotiated. But again, I'm sure that's going to have a lot to do with how much money they put into you as well. Nowadays, owning masters is a little bit different and easy because most companies want you to be at a certain point before. So it will be kind of silly for you to turn over your masters if you were like Chance the Rapper because with so much building unknown, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not that, whereas with another artist where nobody didn't know of you at all, and it's because of the record company that you got to be the name that you are, is different, right? But by some artists who were before him and now it's two different conversations that we had. So if you are an artist and you're just getting started and you have somebody that say, hey, I'm going to drop, I don't know, $50,000, $75,000 on you to get you going, right? Because that's about how much it's going to take to really get you going. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a career for anything less than that. You can have a local, regional, and it'll take longer, but still you're doing what you want to do. So, but you're still going to need at least, 10, 15 grand just to start on the very, 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 very low end. I mean, so that's just pretty much doing everything yourself. And I don't know, going from club to club and getting a few $100 here, a few $100 there, but it can be done and working maybe another job to keep it. But to really do it right out the door, I mean, you're gonna need some investment, some real dollars investment. You know,
Mm.
like I said, 50, 75, Jesus, about where it is.